Hits by the pound.
Yeah, this is how we do it in the Central Coast, man. We got 40 ounces, Old English, rag tops, 6'4" Impalas, and bikini girls, man. This is how we do it on the West Coast. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. But don't forget about the Central Cali, man. Please don't forget about the Central Cali. Yeah, get 'em.
It's another sunny day in the state of California. Low rider palm trees and G's that put it on ya. This ain't a negative, we speaking ebonics. Rank talk, candy paint on D's with hydraulics. Baseball hat with the sticker on the brim. Don't let the sun blind your sight, cause things can get grim. But I'm not here to talk about banana clips and guns. We're going back to Cali and we're gonna have some fun. A West Coast domination.
And welcome back to Two-Faced Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, out here in Monterey County, also known to the world as the Salad Bowl, also known as the Salinas Valley. To the people in LA, we are north. To the people in San Francisco, we are south. Right smack in the middle, best of both worlds. Don't forget about the Central Cali. Anyway, folks, today we are going to talk about paranormal activity. Right? Not the films. This is something that happened to me back in 2006, right? I know there's a lot of folk stories and people, you know, in the Hispanic community and stuff like that, right? About the just a bunch of folk stories, right? But, you know, but not unfortunately, but this is not a folk story. This actually happened to myself. Like I said, back in 2006. And I've told this story before on Freaky Tales with Tony the Wizard. I've told this story before here on this very podcast, but it was just audio. But I just thought I'd share this with you guys today, due to that we are in the month of October at this current time when this is being filmed, right? So I thought I'd share this with you guys, so this way you could actually see me telling you the story now. Now, what happened was, it was this lady, a friend of the family, friend of my parents actually, who happened to pass away. Right? So my mother and my aunt, God rest their soul, they've also passed since. And my nephew and my son, I believe, was like 3.5, something like that. He was 3.5 at the time. We went to the wake out in King City, California. So we're sitting there, you know, we go in, we walk up to the casket and stuff, right? But right next to the, like, you know, to the side of the casket, there was a picture of her where she's wearing a red sweater, this lady, right? And I've always admired that picture. I always liked that picture due to the fact that it really captured her, how she really looked. You know, I mean, usually pictures sometimes are a little bit different, awkward, right? Not awkward, but, you know, but this picture really captured her, how she was. So I always admired that picture of her, you know. So we sit down and we're there, and you know, as typical, with my mom, God rest her soul, she as the moment we sit down, she leans over to me, she says, "Why don't you go buy some flowers?" I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Why don't you go buy some flowers?" You know, she kind of leans into me, right? And I'm like, what? Like, you should have told me this, we would have ordered a wreath, you know. She says, no, just go buy some flowers somewhere. Well, where the heck am I going to go buy flowers at right now? You know, just go buy some flowers. So I said, okay, well. Okay, so I take off. My nephew, my son, and I, we take off. We come back, right? We go inside. I take the flowers in and stuff, right? There was a lady that she didn't really approve of her having flowers due to religion things. That's beside the point. Anyhow, guys, so what ended up happening is I sit down again, and there's already people there. The service hasn't really started yet, but there's already a lot of people there. So we're sitting close to the front, you know, and I happen to glance over and I look and I said, "Oh wow, the picture It's a different picture. It's not the one with her in the red sweater. Now I could see the picture. She's dressed in white, right, with the Zorro type hat and gloves, like satin gloves with the lace, up to her elbow kind of deal, right? And I'm like, oh wow, with the nice white sweater and stuff, and she's like tipping the hat, and I looked at it and I was like, wow. So I didn't want to get up because you kind of have to cross in front of people, So I didn't think nothing of it. There was a couple of flowers and stuff right there around the picture and stuff, and I believe there was candles. I don't remember exactly, right, but I know the picture it was in white, right? So turns out I had to go use the restroom. The restroom was actually technically, like I said, we're sitting down like this. The picture was to the side. The casket's in front of us. Technically, the restroom was behind the casket on the other side of a wall. So I get up and I walk and I go around, through the back, and then there's this like kind of creepy hallway for being a funeral home, right? I was like, okay, this is not cool because I'm walking through this hall. That room has to be in the embalming room, and the other side of this wall is a casket. This is kind of like weird to me, right? I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm not really a scary cat about that, but it's just kind of give me the jitters a little bit, right? So I go in, handle my business, wash my hands. I come out. I'm kind of creeped. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I kind of got creeped out a little bit, and I'm not a big old scary cat, but excuse me. I kind of ran a little bit, walked a little fast out of there. But as I was turning the corner, I slowed down because then I had to come up on people and then cut across them and cut across where the picture was. So I come out and I go, and rather than just kind of cut across people, I kind of slowed down a little bit, just walked over, and I walked up to the picture because I want to get a closer look. So I have never in my life have seen the color white that clean. It was like really super, super clean. I could see the stitching on the lace at the end of the glove. The gloves, and she's tipping the hat, like, again, a Zorro type hat with the white silk band, right? But she's tipping it, and the look on her face was like pretty much like saying goodbye. And I was like, man, this is really appropriate for the time, for what this is, So I'm just like kind of like, wow, I'm pretty amazed. I'm looking at it. I mean, everything was super, super clean. And the first thing that I really thought of was glamour shots. And I thought about it, I said, well, why didn't she ever show us this picture? You know what I mean? Because she has showed us the pictures before. The previous one that was it with her in the red sweater and stuff, and they were from glamour shots and stuff. And I was like, wow, why didn't she ever show? This is an excellent picture. Like, this is clean. Like, this is nice, Whatever, I'm like, okay, cool. I walk back, sit down. My son starts acting up, right? He starts acting up. He starts getting all like, he's antsy. He's still a baby, he's still a kid, So I'm like, man, I said, so the service hasn't started yet. I said, hey, you know what? Let's take him outside. Let's just take him outside. I told my nephew, let's go outside, man. We'll go over there and chill with him, just so he could kind of run around outside and he could just, kind of burn off that little energy, and then we'll come back in when the service starts. So we go outside. We're chilling outside, and I believe I had bought him a toy or something. So he was enjoying himself outside, just running around, and we're just sitting outside, just chilling, just whatever. My nephew and I were just talking and this and that, right, about the whole situation. So they announced, hey, the service is about to start. So we went back in, and I'm sitting down, right? I'm sitting down, and they're doing the service thing again. It was due to another religion, but hey, I was just, I'm there to pay my respects. I'm not there for religion. So anyhow, I look over again and I go, oh man, they put the picture back, the one in red. And I'm like thinking, as this is going on, I'm thinking, man, why'd they do that? Like they should have left the one in white. It was more appropriate for the situation. So, oh well, service was over. She was to be cremated, so they told us to go back in a week. Right? They told us to go back in a week to the funeral where they're gonna bury her and stuff, right? And they told us, meet us at the cemetery at this time. We'll be there, in a week. So we walk up, we pay our last respects to see her, in her casket, and we proceeded to leave. Okay, so come a week later, we end up going to the funeral service, right? And we show up and we're there and everything else, paying our respects and whatnot. But what ends up happening is one of our friends, a mutual friend, she comes up and she says, "Hey, Fred, come here." And I said, "Hey, what's going on, Ida?" And unfortunately, she's also passed since now. But she says, "Hey, go get some carnitas. Go get some carnitas from this place over here." That she's naming the specific place. She goes, "They're good there. They're good there." And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, we're gonna bring to the, I guess you would call it a reception, celebration of life. We all get together at the deceased's, at the lady's house, the one that's deceased. We're gonna go to her house, and her so we're there. So I go get these carnitas. I get this, like a bunch of carnitas. I get tortillas, salsas. I get all this stuff, right? All the condiments that go with it, right? So we end up going back to the house. My mother, she does not want to stay. So I get off with the food. I go and take it to the guy, right? And I tell him, "Hey, listen, I'm bringing you the food." I said, the guy she was with, her husband had already passed, so she was with this other gentleman. Anyhow, I said, "Hey, I'm bringing you this food, because we got to get going and stuff." He says, "Hey, where's your mother at?" And I said, "Oh, she's across the street in my truck." And he says, "Oh, no." He goes, "No, I will not accept that. You guys gotta get off. You guys got to get off and come over. You guys are a good friend of the family. She talked a lot about you guys. She spoke highly of you guys. You guys got to get off, man. You guys got to stick around for a while, And I said, "Okay, you know what, man? Let me go talk to my mom real quick, right?" So I go, and my mom's, "Oh, okay. Well, you know what? We're only gonna stay 30 minutes." I said, "Okay, well, fine, come on." So we get off, and I get her off, and we all go inside the house and stuff. I am not going to lie to you guys. I sat down and had a meal there. The lady, God rest her soul, Ida, man. God rest her soul. Like I said, she's passed. The one that told me about where to buy the carnitas. Those, up to this day, those are probably the best carnitas I've ever had in my life. Those were excellent, down to the salsa, tortillas, and everything else, right? So, yeah, I went in. But anyhow, after that happened, after I sat down and ate, and then I went and sat on the couch. So behind me, up on top, behind me, hanging in the wall, was the picture of the lady, the deceased lady, and she was, she's wearing the red sweater. So I go, "Well, there's the picture, So I sit down, and we're all there talking and stuff. Everybody's talking about good times and all this other stuff, how everything, just talking about good times and whatnot, right? The new man in her life was talking about, that he didn't like certain things that happened, when she had gotten ill. Unfortunately, she passed of cancer. So he was talking about those are things, things that he, along his journey of her going, through her battle, so on and so forth, right? And then, when we went on to, funny situations and stuff, people were talking about that stuff. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just kind of listening, and at the table, they're all talking and stuff, and then one gentleman said, He said, you know what? He goes, I just got to make an announcement to everybody here. He goes, everybody's having a good time. We're talking about her celebration of life, and this is all great. But I'm going to tell you guys one thing. And he said it in Spanish, though, right? He goes, but I'm going to tell you guys one thing. He goes, that picture right there, and he pointed right over my head, the picture in red, right? He says, that picture right there is cursed. And I was like, the heck? About what the heck, you know? And then I'm all like, what the, you know? And then he was all, yeah, you know. And then these ladies all of a sudden start arguing. They're like, no, I told you, I thought it was the reflection of the candles, or I thought it was the reflection of the flowers and this and that. No, I told you she was wearing a hat, you know, and this and this and that, right? And then I'm like, what the heck, like, you know? And they're kind of going, not in an anger, like it was an argument / discussion that we're kind of going in, right? And I said, hey, excuse me. I go, excuse me, guys. I go, I don't mean to get into your conversation here, guys, but nobody changed the picture last week, you know, at the funeral home. And one lady points at me and she goes, he saw it too. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, hey, what did you see? And I told them, right? I said, oh, she was wearing white. Yeah. We come to find out that picture does not exist. That picture does not exist. I was like, I walked up to it. I was within, you know, 1.5 feet from it, 2 feet maybe, if that. I walked up to it. But you're telling me it don't exist. Later on, the mutual friend of ours, Ida, she says, you know what, Fred? She goes, we had gone to your house. You guys weren't home. She says, she really wanted to see you guys. She wanted to see you and your mom. Because my dad had already passed by that time. So she wanted to see my mom and I and my aunt, you know. And she was all, when we left, she goes, we're leaving, passing your house again. She goes, and she kind of slowed down and looked. She says, you know what? She goes, it just hurts that I'm not going to see them no more. You know, I'm not going to see them again. So she really wanted to see you guys. I took that more of a compliment. I don't get creeped out. Like I said, I get the heebie-jeebies, like, you know, it kind of creeped me out a little bit when I was at the funeral home. But this situation does not creep me out. On the contrary, I kind of feel honored about it. You know, I kind of feel honored about that whole situation. You know, it's like, and you know what, guys? I know there's some people are not going to believe me. You know, some people are going to be, oh, you're full of it, Fred, stop. You know, I put that on my parents' ashes and my aunt's grave, that this is what happened to me in 2006. I have no explanation for it. I wish I could tell you guys, oh, well, you know what, it was a dream, or maybe I didn't see things right. No, it really happened. I just don't know how to explain it, other than what I've already told you. But I can't explain how, and you know what I mean, what really happened there. So really, that's it, guys. I mean, that's it. Again, I'm not fearful of it. I'm just more honored in a sense. A couple of months ago, I happened to be in King City at the time, you know, and I actually called the funeral home, and I wanted to do some filming there because I told them, hey, you know, the situation happened. You know, they're a mortician's job and the spiritual world kind of don't mix in. He was kind of like, what? Like, you know, so he listened and we kind of talked. We really got into, not into it as bad, but he was just kind of intrigued. But he was a little bit standoffish because he was like, hey man, don't scare people away from my funeral home, you know. So I kind of took a step back after that and said, you know, we'll talk later about it, you know, and if you decide you want to let me film, then we'll discuss that later. So that was it. I kind of wanted to use it for this video, but no, he basically declined. But and I understand. So there's no harsh feelings on that. I understand. You know, my story to what happened in that funeral home, which was not even, it wasn't their funeral home at the time. It was a previous owner's, right? And it's just, but I get it. But I get it, guys. But anyhow, guys, that's really it. That's plain and simple. I wish I had a better explanation for it. I'm not lying to you guys. That's really bottom line. And that's just what happened. That's just what happened. And again, I'm just honored for that. With that, guys, this is Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, Fred Segura, signing out.